Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. This is Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. This is just a quick introduction to the first video in my Green Apple Books series. I am so excited to start this series with Green Apple Bookstore in San Francisco, and I just want to give you guys some updates. So as you know, there is a code down below that you can use on their website for 10% off, and the store offers 99-cent shipping. But I'm so excited for this. Also, if you go to Green Apple Books and you mention that you saw this video on YouTube or any of the videos to come, you will also be able to get 10% off in the bookstore. So if you are in San Francisco and walk in, say you were watching the YouTube videos with Green Apple Books or Ink and Paper Blog, and 10% off in the bookstore there for you. I am so excited to introduce you guys to Noah, who does the first video with me. And I hope you guys like some of the selections. He really did a great job of picking a lot of books that I had never heard of and getting me super excited. So here we go. Here's the kickoff. Hope you guys like this series, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. Today I am at Green Apple Books on the Park with Noah, who is a bookseller here, and he is going to be doing a video with me. Welcome, Noah.
Thank you for having me on the show. It was really exciting.
Today we're going to be talking about some books that Noah's going to recommend to you. Some just came out and some are actually from the last 6 months or so, and he's going to tell you about them. And then as always, down below you'll find a link to Green Apple Books website and the code to go ahead and order for 10% off, and they do 99-cent shipping. So super exciting. So Noah, what are you going to talk to us about today? What's the first book?
Yes, first one I've got here, The Endless Summer by Madame Nielsen. They're a performance artist from Denmark, and this book's translated from the Danish by Gay Kinok, I think is maybe how we pronounce the translator's name. Just came out from Open Letter, and we have an event for it coming up. But it's sort of a dreamy meditation on youth and death and gender and a little bit of like class fading aristocracy conversation happening as well. It's really like immersive and beautiful, and like I said, like sort of a dreamscape.
You were telling me before that we did this video. Stylistically, though, it's a little bit different, right? It's written in a very interesting style.
Yeah, little, we might say Proustian with the sentences. They're very long, sort of like compacted, compounded clauses upon clauses upon clauses. It takes a minute to get into the rhythm of it, but I'm finding now I'm like 50 pages in, it's like really like, it's a lot easier to read, and it's sort of like drifting over me and through me.
Well, that's really cool. So let me hold the cover up so you guys can see it. And you guys have an event on what day?
It's on March 8th at 7:30, and it'll be co-hosted by the Center for the Art of Translation. Scott Esposito will be doing the conversation.
Perfect. So if you guys are in the Bay Area and you want to come see this, come to Green Apple Books on that date. I'll put all of this information below. What's next?
Next is Empty Set by Veronica Gerber Bicecci. She's from Mexico, and the book is translated from Spanish by Christina McSweeney, who is a rock star translator. I haven't read this one yet, full disclosure, but I'm really excited about it. It's sort of informed by set theory, so there's this sort of mathematical component to the novel, and it has all these really fascinating, I don't know if you can see this on the screen, hand-drawn diagrams of like the characters, and they sort of like create Venn diagrams where it's like where the sets represented by the character intersect.
And what's the main story about? Do you know?
That is a great question. It's about an affair and a family.
And how it affects, I think, the entire family. And, you know, McSweeney is the one who translated The Story of My Teeth. Mm-hmm. And she does an amazing job with sort of these avant-garde sort of books and making them very readable and very relatable.
She's one of my favorite Spanish translators.
Yes. You have an event for this book as well, don't you?
Yes. That is on...
I will insert it down below.
Yes, we have an event coming up anyway.
I will insert
and Christina McSweeney will be here as well. The translator and the author will be here.
You guys, if you are in the area, that is worth coming to. I can't even imagine.
I think it's going to be like one of our coolest events this spring.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so that's Empty Set by Veronica Gerber. Say this name for me.
Veronica Gerber Bicecci, I think.
He says it much better than I. You guys know how I am with names. Okay, what's next? This book actually came out last year, right?
Yes, so this one came out towards the end of last year. In the Distance by Hernan Diaz. It's amazing. This, I think, was my favorite book of 2017. I'm willing to go out there and say it. Also from Coffee House. It's sort of a reverse Western. So the story is there's this kid from Sweden who he and his brother are moving to the U.S. to search for a better life. They're supposed to go to New York, but they end up on different boats, and the younger brother, the main character named Hawk, he ends up in San Francisco around 1849.
Oh, awesome.
So he figures he needs to catch up with his brother, and the best way to do that is to just travel east to New York. He doesn't speak any English. He has no idea where he is. He's never heard of San Francisco. He's never heard of California. And he's sort of moving eastward against the gold rush and the tide of westward expansion. And what's really cool about it is the character sort of becomes this mythic Paul Bunyan kind of figure. He grows to enormous size, and sort of the landscape grows to meet him. He's in like the vast like salt plains of the desert, and the prose changes with him too as he like comes to an understanding of himself and the language and where he is. The prose becomes more clear and more dynamic, and it starts out very like opaque almost, and then becomes something completely different.
Well, that sounds awesome. And now this is sort of one of those like travel tales where you're walking and the world around you comes in.
Yeah.
I love the idea that the style changes as he becomes more comfortable with his situation.
Yeah, it's an amazingly inventive novel,
and
very readable too.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's a first and foremost an adventure story, and it really is gripping.
Awesome. And that's In the Distance by Hernan Diaz. And I've hauled this book on my channel before, you guys, so you know I'm excited about that one as well. Okay, and this one's new in paperback, right?
Yes, this one came out a couple weeks ago, I think, in paperback. Universal Harvester by John Darnielle. You might remember his last novel, Wolf in White Van. That
was very popular.
Yeah, and he's also the frontman from the band The Mountain Goats, who's they're a personal favorite of mine as well. So this was a really cool read. It's a horror story about a guy who works in a video store in Nevada, pronounced Nevada, not Nevada, Iowa, in the 90s. So as a bookseller, you know, it definitely spoke to me, the video store narrative.
Yep.
But it's spooky. Like Wolf in White Van, it's like a little scary, a little insidious, but it also came to a nice resolution.
And it has a 90s feel to it, so it'll have some of that
definitely.
atmosphere that we so enjoy about the 90s.
Definitely, yeah. You know, they're like sitting home watching movies, like all kinds of stuff from the 80s and 90s.
And when you say it's scary, what would be sort of the trigger warning? Is it just like intense? Is there any violence in it?
Not a whole lot of violence. There is some stuff with cults and kind of getting taken in by cult figures. So if any of that is triggering for you, maybe stay away.
I know a lot of you really like books about cults, so this may be right up your alley. What is it again?
Universal Harvester by John Darnielle.
Okay, perfect. And look at this cover, you guys.
It's trippy.
That's pretty cool. Wolf in White Van had a pretty cool cover too.
Oh yeah,
awesome. He's got it. Last but not least, I'm actually super excited to hear about this one. So we have one more book that Noah's going to tell us about.
Yeah, we've got Beyond the Rice Fields by Naivo. This is the first book translated into English from Madagascar, and it was translated from the French by Alison Charette, who's a really amazing Madagascar French translator primarily. This book, it's a coming-of-age story that happens during sort of the fall of the last gasps of the monarchy in Madagascar during the time of European colonialism. And so it's a love story about a young boy who is kidnapped and sold into slavery as a child, and then raised by a kind of a loving family who treats him as a son. He falls in love with the daughter, and it's sort of their love story throughout several decades. And then in the meantime, there's this backdrop of all this political chaos and change and war and violence in Madagascar. So that's also a trigger warning. If war and violence is hard for you, this might not be the one.
This reminds me a little bit of Kintu, and I can never remember Kintu's author's name. Jennifer.
That's Jennifer Nansubuga Makundi.
Yeah, so kind of that saga over time in a country you may not have read a whole lot of books about. I don't think I've ever read a book set in Madagascar, so that's pretty exciting. And this has been out for a little bit too, right?
Yeah, it came out I think in November from Restless Books, which is based in Brooklyn.
Yeah, and we were talking about it before. You thought this was one of those books that may have missed a lot of radars, but it's definitely worth finding and picking up. And that is
Beyond the Rice Fields by Naivo.
Not by Naivo. Well, No, I want to thank you so
thank
much.
you.
I hope you had a good time being on my channel.
Yeah.
We are going to be doing this as a monthly series, so you guys may see Noah again on the channel. So as always, thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
If you are new to the channel, please subscribe. You'll find this on my channel and also on Green Apple's channel in a few weeks. And the links are all below to all the books. And until next time, happy reading.
See ya.